Okay, colouring our fashion figure using our trade sketch. File, open in Illustrator. So open up the template figure that you want to use. I've actually chosen this one. I tried all the others and none of them seem to work. I haven't tested this one, so hopefully it'll work. Alright, so what I've done is I've got my figure, got my head, got my trades, got all my colours and my colour swatches that I did in Photoshop, and my shoes. So I'm all prepared. I suggest making 3 extra artboards. So window, workspace, reset your trade workspace. Artboards are down the bottom here. So you'll need probably won't need much drawing stuff. It's mainly editing this time. So you'll need stroke layers is what you'll need. Okay, so zooming in on our figure. I don't know which one to use yet. Maybe I'll use both. This one's got an arm on a hip, which I've got to get rid of. So if other templates have got their arm on their hip, you can actually just copy the arm on the other side and flip it over to fit the figure. You might have to angle it out a bit and stuff. These figures aren't made for colouring exactly. They're more sort of for dressing. So just be careful with these parts. You might have to delete some of them. So, you know, most of them are just a guide to help you put your dress on the figure. But as I look at this, I don't need that. I might need my waist, my bust and my centre front line. I won't need the neck eventually, but there you go. I should have fixed these before I started, but anyway, I'll be doing that at some stage. Cut, delete. Alright, and anytime you're joining, try and use the join tool. It's under the shaper tool. It's the last one here. Get a much better join, you end up with 1 point rather than 2. It's a lot easier to deal with. So firstly, our head. We'll scale it to fit. Press V, scale. Pop it on. Okay, too big. So that's why I've got the face on there, so you can actually see how big she is compared. And you might want to make the head a bit bigger anyway. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Now, the important thing with the face is that you always leave enough space between the lips and the chin. If it's a bit too narrow, so not deep enough, she'll look a bit weird. Anyway, that's good size. I'll probably go a little bit bigger than I normally would. Just going to delete those features. Going to join that path there. So get my join tool. Join that. I also don't need the hairline. I don't need the ears either. So get rid of anything you don't need. We're going to fill this in with colour. So Command J. Command J. Figure's a bit lumpy here. So anyway, we can come and fix that up later. I should do it now. Get our join tool. Rub, rub. Alright. Move the head back into place. Okay. Zoom out. I think by the time she's got her clothes on, that will be the right size. So yeah, she's good. Shoes. Grab shoes. Command copy. Command paste. Now size. Again, they're a bit big, but maybe a bit smaller. V, squish them down, move it over. Okay. Again, it's 1, 2. So that's the same shoe, it's just copy reflected. Okay. Quite happy with that figure. Yeah, I think I'll use her. I think I'll get rid of this one. Because I copied her arm, she's grouped, I think, so I have to use the group tool just to get those bits on the end. Okay, now you don't have to stick with your artboard as it is. We need a bit of room, so I'm just going to click on the artboard icon in the tools and drag. So I'm going to put my 3 figures on this page. At the moment I'm thinking that I don't even really want to colour her skin. I'm thinking I'll keep her white. I just think it'll look better in the end. Could have grouped that. I'll get rid of that, whatever it is. Something very old. Okay. 2013. It's a very old figure, this one. Okay, so I've got my 3 girls. Now what I'm going to do is grab my dresses and put them on my figures. So firstly you want to get rid of the parts you don't need. I won't be needing the little splits because her legs are apart, you'll know that they're split. The outside line I don't really want as a thick line, so I'm just going to change the weight of that to 1. These are looking a bit heavy as well, so I'm just going to lighten up some of the lines that look a bit heavy. That one doesn't look as heavy. I think I'll go 7.5. There we go. Yeah, probably all of that stuff 7.5 as well. Keep my seaming 7.5. In fact, I don't need those. Anyway, I'll keep them in there and see what happens. Now, before we do anything else, you copy it, because if it stuffs up, you have to go and find your drawing, put it back in the file. So move it over. Now with this image, what I've got is a very angled hip and a very angled torso. So sometimes it's actually better to cut at the waist and just sort of work on the top area. And so I can just select that and that and that and that. Okay, so I'm going to bring that back. I might even change the colour of it just so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, V, or black selection tool, rotate to follow the shoulder. I want it to look quite boxy, this. I don't want it to look too sort of twee, quite big and boxy. Just going to pull that over there a bit. So shoulders are always the most important thing. Oops. And she's very angled, but might be going too far. Nah, we'll see. We're going to edit it anyway, so I'm going to zoom in just so I can see the majority of it. And I'm going to make sure it's lined up on the neck, and that centre front line. It would be hanging away from the neck a little bit there. I think I'll bring it down, bring it up. It doesn't matter if the shoulder isn't exactly in the right spot. So a little bit of a turn. So this sort of finessing it is the thing that's going to take probably the longest. Okay, line up that break with the centre front line. Now, what we're going to do is use envelope distort, object, envelope distort, make with mesh. And you can choose how many rows you want. If you've got something that's really floppy, then you want more than 4. But mine's quite stiff, so I don't really want to have too many sort of lines going on in there, too much movement. So I'm going to go OK. And then you use the mesh tool. It's this one over here, or press U on the keypad, mesh tool. And so first thing I'm going to do is probably push in this part here. Well, it is changing my sleeve, which I don't want to happen. And this is what I mean, you really just don't know what's going to happen. Remembering the things, our rules of fashion drawing. So I don't think I'm going to change my sleeves because the high shoulder throws the garment from the high shoulder. This side it sits closer to the body. So this side is going to sort of crush on the waist here and fall out from the waist on that side. I think I'm actually pretty happy with it just like that. I think I'll just pull out that bottom part of the sleeve there though. Yeah, there we go. And object expand. Oh no, I'll just click on the page. I'll press return, sorry. Object. Alright, so yeah, oh there we go. Now, so deselect, reselect, object, expand. Object and fill ticked, okay. And so what's that's done is actually turn it back into a line drawing. So now I can use my white tool, white selection tool, and manipulate things if I need to. So what's happening here is I'm just going to fit it, like bring it down to the waist more because it's a little bit short because she is elongated, like that. The draping is going to sort of fall and catch on that leg there, and it's going to come over and catch on this leg here. So thinking about this leg sticking out further in space than that one, so it'll catch down there. Let's get rid of that sort of curly bit. Bring that line in there. The sleeve, we're not actually going to see the sleeve, it'll be sitting behind her hip. So I'm going to cut, C tool, cut there, and oops, wrong one. I might even come back and cut more later. So, and I'm going to select the bits I don't want. That bit. Oops, I lost a bit that I did want. Okay, that bit's joined. Alright, you can use your minus tool to minus out something like that. And you can use your white selection tool just to sort of push that back up in there. Delete this. Like that. Alright, so that's set up. Now minus, I'm going to grab my bottom part of my dress, bring it over. Did I tell you that when you're doing this, you don't want your, see I'm scaling it to fit the length I want. You don't want a lot of stitch lines and things like that in it. I'm keeping these because they are actually seams, they're not stitch lines. So, zooming out again, I'll just make it pink and also help me delete the bits underneath that I don't want. Do I edit, distort? Yes, of course I do. Edit, object, sorry, envelope distort. Object, envelope distort, make with mesh, 4, okay. Now, oops, daisy, Command Z, Okay. Oh, damn. Object, envelope, distort, make with mesh. 4. Okay. Now, what will happen here? Oh, using the wrong tool. Here you go. So that'll sort of dent in, catch on the leg as it crushes here. This will pull out on the leg. This will also pull out and sort of wrap over the leg and fall to the front. I'm going to get rid of that curvy bit there. Push that up. Thing I forgot to do was rotate it because the high hip and the hem. So if you've got the high hip and the low hip, the hem is high on this side, low on that side. The garment does throw from the high hip, so you do want to have it catching on this hip and then throwing, and this hip it's sort of baggy and then throwing. Now I need to change this a little bit more again so it catches. Oops, no, what I want to do. What's mesh tool? That's why. Mesh tool, drag, and bring that just a little bit. Push that. Whoops, a daisy. Alright, leave that like that. I just want to stop that being so curvy, but it's okay. Now I'm just going to drag this out so that I get my hip there. I could even sort of pull it in a little bit here so it looks like gravity is, sucking it in under the leg there. Now, I might pull the top out a bit. I'm going to sort of make it sit away from the body a touch, just so that we know it's not skin tight, it's kind of loose sort of garment. Okay, that'll do. I'm happy with that. Now I'm thinking about drape tip there. Nah, I'll just leave it. You don't need a lot of movement, and a bit is enough. Okay, deselect, object, select it again, object, expand. Aren't you letting me expand? Maybe I have to be on the mesh tool. Object, expand. I don't know. Maybe both. Okay, there we go. So once we've got that, then if you want to make that look like it's rolling over the leg like that. This one can go in. Remember to use your keypad arrows for just little increments. They work much better than trying to do it yourself. Due to this sort of wrapping around the back, it would sort of look narrower on this side than this side. A bit wider. Alright. Something like here where I actually want a little wiggle, I'm going to grab my pencil tool. Pencil tool's under the join tool, pencil tool, and you can just go squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Oh, damn. Anyway, you can also add points. Sometimes it works. Hang on, maybe I put it in the wrong spot. Yeah, that'll do. And then move the points around. So I'm just going to bring that down. So there's always a bit of crush where the leg bends. And try and keep it sort of pointy rather than too roundy. Otherwise it'll look like plasticine dress. I'll bring that in a little bit. I think I'll bring this up because it's not really on the hip. And there. Alright. Okay, so that's that top there. Push that up. I think I'm happy with that. Maybe that's a bit too funny. Okay, if you can't see something properly, zoom in. Always zoom in. And I mean, even after you've finished all this, zooming in is a really good idea to help with getting it all right. Okay, there we go. Command 0 to zoom out. Now my drapes, this drape would be sort of happening from about there. I think it's sort of pulling, yeah, it's sort of gravity's making it sort of pull down. I don't know that it would be bent as much, probably more like that. Alright, okay, I think she's ready to go. So what I'll do is I'll show you basically how to work with all of these things. And you don't want the really thick outline that you have in a trade sketch. You might even find that all your lines, need slimming down, and you can do that initially by selecting everything, or Command A, Shift Command A, that selects everything, and then just choose, 075 or something like that for your line width. Okay, so I'll put that there, this up here, that up there. I mean, it's harder if you're working on someone else's design to know whether you've got all the elements exactly right, because as we know, you can sort of lose things. Oops, don't do that. I'm just going to push the little handlebars in to straighten out that line there. I'm going to push this one up. In fact, I should cut it off, really. Cut, C, cut. Okay, it's not happy. Cut. And select that bit I don't want. Oh, okay, that was the bit I did want. What is going on with that? Didn't cut it enough. So this is a profile line, and that can be a bit problematic with cutting. I'm going to use the eraser. I wonder if that'll work. Okay, I don't use the eraser very often, but sometimes it's good for things like that. I could even drag that down again. There we go. Okay, so this one is just a panel line. Okay, that's all good. This is minus, and I think we'll just round that out. Round that out. Oh, that'll do. Okay. Here is, yeah. You don't always have, there is a drape in there, like a line, but you don't have to put everything in on an image. The wiggle is enough to tell you that corner is, broken because of the body. Even the neck, if I fit it to the neck, it'll look really sort of stuffy, I think. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And that's good. So what I would do, I mean, technically I could just fill the shape with white. Let's see if that works. No, it didn't. Okay. Yeah, because we've used the envelope distort, we actually have to go through with our scissors. Have to zoom right in, and we have to cut the body. That's why I've used two different colours, so I know exactly where the body is. And I'm going to cut all the bits off that we don't need. So where the body intersects the dress. Do need this waist here though, so I want that. Don't want that corner. Do want that. Don't want that. Do want the neck. That. Now over here, I do want this arm. Cut. See. Cut. Cut. Oops. Cut. Alright. Now, fingers crossed I haven't deleted the bits I want. Make sure you don't select parts you do want. Okay, Command minus, so minus out at this point. You can use your group selection tool, hold down Shift, select all the bits you don't want. And of course, if you haven't cut them at this point, it'll be really annoying because it'll select the bit you do want. Don't want that, don't want any of the flags. That. Oh, I forgot about this leg. Okay, so zoom in here, cut. So yeah, try and cut exactly to the right spot. You don't really want sort of gaps or things like that. Even though live paint can handle it. Alright, so now I've got it like that. Am I happy? No. I think this sort of looks a bit funny. I think I want that to come out. I don't think I want it looking as fitted. Alright. I could get in there and tidy that up. I'll do that later. Now, turning on my line work back into black. I'm not going to get too tricky with, you know, making special colours for the outside edge and things like that. Just going to go black. There we go. Oh, missed a bit. So you can see it doesn't matter if the lines are joined or anything like that. Now that I've changed the colour, I've lost all my different. So I'm gonna. These were. Yes. Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? Okay. So these have become cards. Blah blah. Okay. What I'm going to do. So anything that is made into a profile will now be turned into two lines. So we need to go to our layers. And we need to lock that layer, make a new layer, just get our pen tool and quickly draw the lines that we need to replace just with a plain line. Make sure there's no fill and make it a different colour. So, make it a different colour just so that we know which one we want to keep because we're tracing exactly over. Drag down, might even curve that a bit more. P to deselect, P, and then click down to there, hold and drag, P to deselect. Alright, lock that layer, unlock this layer. Oops, I didn't draw that one. Okay, click up here, click to there, click down to here. Get your white selection tool and push that in. Push that that way. Behaving, all that up. If that's not working, get your curvature tool, drag it in, drag it in. Do like the curvature tool. Okay, so that's done there. Unlock that layer, lock that layer, click on this layer, select the bits you want to get rid of. Oh, they're all grouped. Choose your group selection tool. Just grab those bits, delete, delete. There you go. And now that is going to be changed back to black. Select, select, and black. Okay. Now it's not playing ball. Okie dokie. Select. Oh, wrong layer. See, it's always a reason. Select, select, black. Okay, there we go. Alright, zoom out. Okay, so she's ready to be coloured. I don't even think I want that line. No, I don't think I even want that line. To me there'd be a line sort of tension pulling through from there. But I don't think it needs the line, really. We'll see. Okay, there we go. Too thick. 7.5. Okay. Collecting one layer. Collecting new layer. There we go. Oh. Flatten. There we go. Okay. So only have separate layers if you really need them. Anyway, I'll fix that later. So with this, we're now going to set up our colours. And the other thing you can do at this point is copy her just in case, because you never know. Things can go horribly wrong, and you think, why didn't I save it? And you can find stuff like that. Okay, there we go. All right, so with colouring, come over to your colour page. So we're not using a different layer. So with these swatches that I made in Photoshop, I'm just going to reduce the size of them. Best to do it all at once. Sort of look at, you know, I'm just filling up the edges with that. So I think I don't want to go too small. Why, in theory they are smaller, and they are going to repeat side by side. That's the other thing. So I think I'll just leave it like that. So this is a new colour group, so select all those colours, go to your swatches and click on the list and say new colour group. You can name it, but if it's on that file, I guess we know what it's for. They'll be on the bottom. And you can drag in your print swatches separately, and fingers crossed it's all going to work beautifully. So what we need to do is select all of her, maybe not the photographic head or the photographic feet, all of that. Okay. Object, live paint, make. Oh, well, it always gives you small gaps, so we don't really need to change that. So I'll start with this area here, I think, and I think I want her to be lilac. I think this will be my lilac girl, so I need my live paint bucket. I think it's under the shape building tool. Yes, it is. Or you can press K. So choosing my colour, I'll choose that one, and I'll click in there. Yay! Oh my goodness! Yay! 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 So there you go. It's pretty good, isn't it? Just realised that line like's wrong. Further up. Best to change it before I paint it. I just need to delete that, drag that over, and move this over to here. There we go. You know, with things like this, in reality, you might have, you know, more space on this side of the body showing and less on that side. But in a drawing, you just keep it quite even. I find that works better. So with the rest of it, I think I'll fill it with gradient. So I'll get out my gradient tool. There it is. I do want it to go light to dark. Maybe I want it to go light to dark to light. So I can click on the bottom to add a colour swatch. Now, all you do is you drag your colour swatch onto the circle. Have I got the right colour? I hope so. Yes, I think so. All right. So now, when I click in an area, I'll get that gradient, but the thing is it is going to put it in each separate spot. So basically the last thing you selected is what happens with the gradient. 0, oh, missed a bit. There you go. So there you have it. Pretty simple, huh? And I do think gradients look a lot better than just flat colour, but you can possibly change the angle of the gradient. No, I have to do that beforehand. Anyway, so I could, yeah, I would probably go and put a few lines in there to sort of break it up a bit so it doesn't look like plasticine. But this is basically the idea of it. You can still manipulate your paths, your widths and things like that. And then right at the end, you're going to put it on a background. So, where did I put my file? I think it's on desktop. Should be more organised. Where are we? I'm just going to be a bit slack and use the one I made last year. Okay, so it's this one. I'm going to put this image on. So whenever you bring in a photo, you can copy paste from Photoshop and it will embed, but if you just drag it onto the file, you have to go to links and you have to choose that. Well, if you select it first and then choose embed image. You can select more than one. If you just click and shift, you can select all of them. Okay, so this is my background. I want it to fit in this shape here. I'm going to use this shape as a clipping mask. I need to make it bigger. Okay. Alright, so there's that. This is the clipping mask. Now what's happening is locked. Okay, got that one. I'm going to swap it to a line. I'm going to pop it over this image. I'm going to select both of them, move it down. Don't know if I have to be on the same layer. We'll soon find out. I'm going to make sure that the line work is at the front. Shift Command send to the back. I'm not even sure if that worked. If you can't tell, Command Y. Select the line work. Now it's actually lower. Okay. I'm going to cut and paste it. Command X. Go up to my layer up there. Command Paste. Bring that down over my image. Okay. Command Y. Alright. So now I know it's sitting on top because I cut and pasted it. Get rid of the colour. Otherwise the colour will become part of the image. Select both of them. Object, clipping mask, make. There we go. So, that's my old one. This one is probably going to be, I don't know. I'll have to experiment, but anyway, I'll just choose blue at the moment. I'll get my clipped mask, move that back into place, send it to the back, Shift Command, back bracket, no. I'm going to have to drag that down to there. Oh, I've lost most of my image. Maybe if I put a transparency on this, that'll sort of work. Yeah, sort of all right, it's not too good. Maybe I don't. Maybe I can send that to the back. Shift Command send to the back. No, because it has to be below that one. There we go. Yeah, I think I'll do that this year. Now the typing I want above everything, so that's that layer. And this, whoops, hang on, what's that? This is another layer that. Okay. Now, which is which? I'm just going to lock that layer, turn them off. Okay, so this one, that's all I want. So I'm just going to select these guys. Remember, if you import a font, you need to, actually I'm just going to delete that stuff. Delete. Okay, that's better. Select that. Remember, if you import a font, you need to turn it into outline by going Type, Create Outlines. Okay, drag that layer up above everything. Hang on. Okay, there we go. So, you know, this is jibbity-goob. Doesn't mean anything, just so it makes a nice sort of part of the image. So ideally I would have finished all of my figures. I would select them separately. I'm just going to delete this. I would select them separately and group them. Command G, Command Copy, go to this file, Command Paste. Okay, and I didn't colour her skin, did I? So I would need to colour her skin, otherwise she's just going to disappear. I think white, or I could go a very pale sort of pinky colour. Maybe it does need a bit of warmth on the page. Anyway, that's the general idea. I would suggest that you put 2 girls, 1 girl, rather than squishing them all up together, but it depends on your layout. And then once you've done all this, everybody's on, make sure you put the figures on a separate layer in case something goes wrong. You need to be able to isolate layers. Then save it as a PDF. So just File, Save As, in here, PDF. I'll just save that. Replace. Okay. And then print it or use it in your slideshow, but you can bring the PDF into Photoshop and make it smaller because it'll be a reasonably big file, although Illustrator files are very small compared to Photoshop. Good luck with it. I look forward to seeing your work.